don't ride the elevator with single women.
Yes,
so
you
now
cannot do
if
that.
a single woman is on the elevator, I gotta wait.
Wait, why don't you? Because they just get too horny.
No, I don't.
Why
I
do
don't
they
wanna
get
run the risk?
run the risk of what?
Sometimes the mention of impropriety is enough to sway people's opinion of somebody.
Really?
So I don't do that.
So if a single woman's going to go into an elevator,
I'm not getting on it.
And what do they think?
I don't let women servers come into my room to bring food.
Really?
If they come to clean the room, I leave the room. I sit in the hallway till they're done. Then I go back into the room.
Now, have you ever blown someone's mind with that? Like, has a girl ever been?
No,
like,
I mean, a lot of times when people see me, it's like, okay, you can get on. I was like, no, I'll wait till the other. They said, no, it's fine. And I just keep it moving like that.
And do you think that they're thinking there's some reverse racism thing there?
No, I don't know what they're thinking.
Do you clutch your purse when white women walk around?
My crossbody? Nah. Because if I'm on the elevator by myself and a woman steps on, I'll get off.
White women only or black women?
It doesn't matter.
So even though Shannon, had the incident with Michelle, whoever that is, where he was hitting it on live and stuff like that, he's a very cautious man. For the most part, he's a very cautious man. That clip right there should show you that. And the thing about it is, no matter how cautious you are, somebody still might try you. So as you know, somebody, and allegedly from what I hear, it's a 19-year-old, just really tried to go very, very big and hit this cat for $50 million over allegations. A lot of the heavy lifting is going to be done by other people to explain this. So let's get to the clip of the woman explaining the lawsuit if you haven't seen it yet.
I'm not a lawyer, but Shannon Sharpe is being sued for $50 million in a lawsuit that accuses him of a number of things. And I read the 14-page complaint, so let me tell you exactly what Jane Doe is alleging Shannon Sharpe did. Now, the lawsuit was filed by attorney Tony Busby, who we know well.
Tony Busby is a hack lawyer. He is a shakedown artist. He had 120 people. He represents 120 people who are suing Diddy. 120, a whole 120. He also got a Jay-Z. And the Diddy allegations, he represented a lot of the ridiculous stuff as far as a lot of the ridiculous allegations that were going on. But as far as the Jay-Z one, he represented somebody who said, Jay-Z got at him when he was 13 or when she was 13. And Jay-Z was very vigilant about it, so they're going through a legal battle right now. So that's who he is. He's a celebrity shakedown. And I just want to say, not only does that say a lot about the case, but that also says a lot about the alleged 19-year-old who, filed this shit. It's a fucking airhead.
On behalf of his Jane Doe client, the suit says that Jane Doe met Shannon Sharpe at a gym in LA in early 2023 when she was 19 and Shannon Sharpe was in his 50s. Sharpe aggressively pursued her and she eventually gave him her number. But before the two of them even hang out, he apparently tries to get her to sign an NDA.
It's funny that she's taken aback by this and she's like a legal professional or a lawyer, or maybe not. Maybe she just has a TikTok and covers a lot of legal stuff. But it's funny that she's taken aback as far as him having her sign an NDA when this lawsuit proves that's how come you have to have these types of things in place. Got to protect yourself from getting exploited, blackmailed, all that stuff, basically what's going on now.
She refuses to sign it, so he eventually stopped asking and invited her over. Jane Doe agrees to go over, and according to the complaint, the very first night was disturbing and unsettling. The suit says he opens the door and without saying a word, just walks upstairs. She follows him, he goes into his bedroom, and then points at the bed. He goes to the bathroom and then comes out, cuts out the lights, and then lays in the bed. Jane Doe says she didn't know what to do, so she just lays in the bed with him, and then the two of them lay there for 10 minutes silently. And then after those 10 minutes, things started happening. The suit claims that at one point, Jane Doe realized that Shannon Sharpe was recording their encounter without her knowledge or her consent. And then the following day, Jane Doe comes back to Shannon Sharpe's house, but she gets there about 5 minutes after the time he told her to arrive. And so she says when she gets inside, he begins yelling at her, accusing her of disrespecting him and wasting his time. He then allegedly grabs her by her neck and then begins engaging with her. But this time he apparently tells her that he's going to end her life. And so, according to Jane Doe, this was the kickoff to the almost 2-year relationship that the two of them had, filled with control, physical, emotional, and psychological abuse. She notes that he once yelled at her while there was a firearm in the room, and because she was scared, she began sharing her location with her friends. But when Shannon Sharpe saw her sharing her location, He allegedly grabbed her by the neck and told her that if she did that again, he would end her life. The lawsuit says that in 2024, Shannon Sharpe and Jane Doe both moved to Vegas, but it notes that Shannon Sharpe apparently likes to claim that Jane Doe followed him to Las Vegas, but she says that's a lie and she went to Las Vegas for her own reasons. Okay, girl. The suit says in September of 2024, when Shannon Sharpe did that infamous live stream,
That's my Michelle.
Jane Doe began to pull away from him because her name ain't Michelle, and she thought the two of them were in an exclusive relationship, but clearly not. About a month later, in October of 2024, Jane Doe says that she was working out at the gym when Shannon Sharpe aggressively approached her. He comes over and tells her to sit down or he's going to end her life. Jane Doe's refusing to speak with him, and so he then allegedly forced her into his car, took her back to her apartment, and then without consent, engaged with her while she was crying and telling him to stop. The suit specifically says that Shannon Sharpe told her, quote, "I'm going to punish this. I'm going to make it so no man will want you again." A few months after this, in January of 2025, the lawsuit says that Shannon Sharpe told Jane Doe that he wanted to see her and that he had a combined Christmas and birthday gift to give to her, because he previously promised her one. So she allows him to come over, and when he did, the suit says that he undressed, and again, despite her screaming and resisting him, he engaged with her without her consent. And so she's suing him for assault and battery and emotional distress. And she's asking for $50 million.
Oh, damn, Skip. Skip. That's how you say skip. You throw an L in that. S-K-I-L-P. Skip. But, yeah. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. But listen, I got to work on that impression, though. But, yeah, so that's what's going on. You know, first off, let's just get it out the way. Believe all women. Oh. It hit me why she made that face. It hit me later after she made another face why she made that face. And it's likely because she doesn't believe it or because it sounds a little bit ridiculous to her, whatever the case may be. But listen, you know, I understand the importance when it comes to these types of allegations and stuff like that of giving women the benefit of the doubt. But just the lawyer alone and the amount of money alone, this is not about justice. This is not about her being a real victim or anything like that. It's a shakedown. 1,000% not believing it, not going, not giving any benefit of no doubt. I'm not rocking with it. But this is the thing. Shannon Sharpe and his legal team responded, and they dropped some text message transcriptions. It's pretty freaky, boy. Pretty freaky. We gonna listen to those right now.
Want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're fucking me. Gabriella Zuniga, in a text message to Shannon Sharpe, October 7th, 2023. I know you miss this big juicy-ass 25K for each cheek. Gabriella Zuniga, in a text message to Shannon Sharpe. January 1st, 2025, 9:50:19 p.m. UTC-8. This lawsuit, filed by Gabriella Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga presented Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of a consensual sexual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. Ms. Zuniga has refused to provide a copy of the full, unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Ms. Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Mr. Sharpe that clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases, initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Contrary to the allegations she makes in her lawsuit, consensual sex continued until January 2nd, 2025, the day after she asked for $25,000 per cheek, as quoted above from her text message to Mr. Sharpe. There are other examples of texts from Ms. Zuniga. For example, "Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me." Text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe, November 23rd, 2023. "I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry a..." Text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe, January 12th, 2024. "That's my daddy fuck, I wanted to put a big black baby in me." Text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe, August 6th, 2024. You better crave it 'cause you're gonna be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. Text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe, August 11th, 2024. These messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic, sexual communications initiated by Miss Zuniga. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual, adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by Ms. Zuniga. The edited tape that Ms. Zuniga secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt tries to falsely portray, as a result of this editing and out of context from prior text messages, that the sexual activity was not consensual. But Mr. Sharpe now believes her secret taping was all part of her planned setup as part of her blackmail scheme, as distorted by her edited tape, a copy of which she refused to make available to Mr. Sharpe or his counsel. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on facts and the law.
All right, so let me give a few assessments on some of the things mentioned. The first thing that is very important, she put in her lawsuit that Shannon recorded her without her consent in his own home. I didn't know you had to have consent to record anybody under any circumstance inside your home. I didn't know you needed that. But that's the first thing. But when you also look at that being a point that she made, how do you make that point when you have your own footage of you both doing sexual acts? Which I don't know if it was hidden camera, but let me tell you something, man. Like, in most cases, if it's something to where somebody is actually holding the camera, it's going to be the dude. And the only time the chick is really holding the camera for the most part is if she, getting head or something like that, which I'm not going to lie to me, that's some sucker shit. Like, fucking getting recorded like that. Like, that's, I don't know, man. Look, if you're freaky and you like that, like, that's cool. That's just, it would just make me feel like a sucker. I'm not knocking none of y'all who get recorded while giving dome to a chick and all that. But, yeah, that's the first thing as far as the first set of things. The recording shit, everything around it is weird from her end because it's like, it's Shannon. It's Shannon Sharpe. Why? You see how careful he mentioned in the opening clip that I put in here? Like, he's very careful. Why wouldn't he be careful with a 19, 20, 21-year-old that he's fucking? Like, why wouldn't he be careful with that? Because some chicks will be dumb enough to go and file a $50 or $50 million lawsuit over a consensual relationship. We got to go somewhere else, though. He probably wasn't, breaking her off no bread. He probably wasn't breaking her off no real bread for real. Because she talking about some $25K each cheek. Like, what? The thing about that, it shows, even though it might be joking and stuff like that, she knows Shannon got that bag. It might be tongue-in-cheek, but she really wants some bread. She is thirsty for the bread, money hungry. And the other thing that also points to her being money hungry is her obsession with having a black baby put in her. Why on earth? I don't think Shannon got no kids, fam. Why on earth do you think he would have a child with your 19-year-old ass? Well, I mean, let's be honest, man. Motherfuckers in that age bracket is fucking stupid anyway. And I'm not even talking about just women, man. I keep it a bean, man. When you in that age bracket, you think you got it figured out. You think you smart, bro. I was dumb as fuck. I can't even, bruh. I was dumb in that age bracket. Not gonna lie to you. Maybe not dumb, but just not that sharp. However you want to paint it. But from my vantage point as a person in their mid-30s, yeah, a lot of people in that age bracket be dumb, especially chicks, and that's how come I always tell you I don't deal with chicks that's that young. I just don't. It's a headache, and it's just some bullshit. Now, it's possible he was breaking her off, but whatever he was breaking her off with, I guarantee you it wasn't satisfactory for her to, And this is the thing. I don't know how much of her story, because they said that some of it was like distortions and stuff like that or misrepresentations. Don't know how much of her story is real. They might not have even met at the gym, you know. So it's like it's really hard to gauge certain things. Like, did he even pitch an NDA at her? Did he ever pitch an NDA? And she said the first night was awkward. He pointed at the bed. They laid in the bed. They didn't do nothing for a long time, and then things started to happen. Shannon is 50-something, and he been getting coochie since, who knows, like fucking 20,000 BC. Like, he's been getting coochie a long time. And guess what? This chick is not no fucking angel. She wanted to put her tongue in this motherfucker's ass. Let me tell you something on some real shit. This is going to be some real shit. I'm going to try and word this the right way. With every younger generation, they get freakier and freakier. And I'm going to just go in about this a little bit. I'm not going to go too deep. Might make a video about this someday. But this is what the video is going to be, basically. Back when, and remember, I'm in my mid-30s. Back in the 2000s, early 2000s, anything before that, it was perfectly okay to not be eating coochie. It was actually very taboo to be eating coochie. People would clown you for it. I cannot find this interview, but there is an interview of Lil Webby, a rapper, and they asked him if he ate coochie. And he said, hell no, fuck, I look like eating coochie. This shit make me look like a clown. Da-da-da-da. So it was very common. Even when I was in high school, people was roasting people for eating coochie. You want to know some funny shit, some lame-ass niggas that I know from another fucking city. Like, I say that shit publicly all the time. They be like, bro, I don't know what he talking about. Shit, we was down with eating coochie whole time. We was eating coochie because you niggas is fucking lame and you needed to do that shit. But anyways, whole point is eating coochie was not a prerequisite, right? For my generation, Lil Wayne dropped Coochie Monster, right? And he's talking about eating coochie. Lil Wayne was very influential. Motherfuckers started bragging about eating coochie and started being proud about eating coochie in my age bracket at that time. So this is like '08. We keep moving on. And I'm not going to go too deep. The things that I'm going to mention, because I'll save it for the video if I ever do it. The things that I'm going to mention began to become normal and popular in this order. Eating butt. Eating butt became popular and normalized to where a lot of chicks wanted their butt ate. The next thing and the latest thing that I can think of was spitting in each other's mouth and shit like that, which is, that shit never crossed my mind. Oh, before that, putting the thumb in the butt. You could say, oh, niggas was doing that all the time. And it's not no crazy shit like the other shit I mentioned. But when Future said, I'm going to put her thumb in her butt, like that became like, oh, everybody's, oh, yeah, you know. Oh, everybody's doing it. Yeah, why did you shit? You not? And again, that doesn't mean that it wasn't happening before he said it. What I'm saying is, nobody was mentioning that type of shit in no conversations that I was having with anybody. Nobody. Literally, like, when I say nobody, I'm talking about, we done talked about all types of freaky shit, trains and, you know, chicks. Matter of fact, I got a whole fucking story, funny shit about a dude showing me a picture of somebody eating somebody else's ass, another dude. It's a crazy, bruh, the chick that I knew, it was crazy. I don't even know how that picture gets taken. But I done had so many conversations about so much stuff. Putting a finger in a butt never came up before, you know, stick talk dropped. But guess what? Everybody do it now. So with that being said, you know, the lines get pushed further and further with each generation as far as this freaky shit. Another example is getting peed on and stuff like that. Yeah, R. Kelly was doing that way back. But, you know, cats like Kevin Gates, the freaky pioneer, he like getting peed on, and he like getting his mouth peed in and stuff like that. He like being a piss fountain. So with that being said, like when you look at like this young chick wanting to eat man butt, don't get it twisted. And it's funny, You want to know what's funny about that? I'm going like real deep. Back in like 2010, I had a white coworker that really liked eating man ass. Didn't eat my ass or no shit like that. So let's just get that out the way. But that was something that she mentioned, and it was just the craziest shit to me. It was just the craziest shit. It was insane at that time. As far as a chick eating man, but you know, you got all these freak dip niggas out here, man. I'm not about to kink shame or no shit like that, but you know what it is, man. Anyways, man, the chick is a little freak dip. She is a little freak dip. So that whole, like, if you texting 25K each cheek and I put my tongue in your ass and put a baby in me and all this stuff, I know when you get in that bedroom, it's not hard for him to get it popping, but just one move, just, you know how they say, like, one false move and I'll shoot. Like, that nigga Shannon make one right move, just even a half of a right move, I know you fucking down to the base of his shaft immediately. Like, so, like, what are we talking about? So, with all of that being said, when we look at the lawsuit, of course, I don't think it's valid. I think Shannon is a very cautious dude, and he's done everything to protect himself. But the bigger message when we look at all of this is more money, more problems. And, you know, it's if you are going to be messing with chicks, right, as a rich individual, you know, this is kind of par for the course if you are somebody of status and fame. If you are just like, you know, what you call it, just a rich dude and nobody care about you and you work for like fucking petroleum logistics, like whatever. Nobody kid, like the chick will move on with her life. But if she got to see you being rich all the time, that shit stay on her mind. And that's how come a lot of that Me Too shit started coming back up and stuff like that, you know. And even then, chicks started trying to capitalize on that who didn't get nothing done to them, et cetera, et cetera. But it was a witch hunt. But with that being said, like, you know, women become a tremendous liability, and sex even becomes a tremendous liability when you got money, because even though Shannon did everything to protect himself and it was a consensual relationship, that didn't stop the bimbo from going and putting in with a hack lawyer, a shakedown lawyer, a $50 million lawsuit. So with that being said, that's it. You know, you're going to hear this. I should have a Tracy Ellis Ross video dropping later today, so be on the lookout for that. I might get into Melissa Ford response. I don't know, but that's on the menu for today. So let me know your thoughts on Gone.
You know what my grandfather said, D? And I'm going to tell you something. He said, the devil will never show up as the devil, because if he did, you wouldn't do the deal with him.
You wouldn't do the deal with him.
Your enemy will never show up as the enemy because you wouldn't allow me in your circle.
Man, say that word, man. Say that goddamn word.
So
dude.
now,
Yes.
we got to be careful.